Hello, hello, hello. My name is Karita Robert Green, and welcome to the Unwrap Your GIFT Podcast, the show where we dance in conversation about all things to do with life, how to find your gifts, and hear stories from inspirational people around the world. You will learn how to celebrate who you truly are, unwrap your gifts, and step into your true authentic power. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I am so excited to be joined today by the lovely Charlotte Barrett. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today, Charlotte. For those of you who do not know Charlotte, I'm going to give her a bit of an intro and then we're going to start the show. So Charlotte Barrett is a business coach specializing in helping women in corporate start and grow online businesses so that they can out-earn their wages. She is also the co-founder of Think, Create, Initiate Mastermind that offers focused business coaching to corporate women ready to create a profitable business online. She has over a decade of small business experience and has helped hundreds of women clarify their business idea and get their first few paid clients online. Her success portfolio also extends to working with micro enterprises, SMEs, universities, local government, and large corporate organizations worldwide, like the Google campus, to deliver bespoke business startup workshops. Her work is a combination of strategy, mindset, and energetics. Charlotte is also a single mom of two beautiful daughters.
So yes, my oldest one is Alicia and Alea, but thank you so much for having me here on your podcast. Absolute honor, and I'm excited for our dance in that conversation today.
Thank you so much. Alicia, sorry, I love you, girl.
She's all good.
Yeah, amazing. So Charlotte, please share with us. We've got a long history. I know you for a long time. You're amazing. I've been watching you from the sidelines on Instagram, on TikTok, all around. And you also really was one of the people who helped me to get back online into the online space. And I'm forever grateful because I had no clue how this world had evolved. So thank you. Just share with us a bit about your journey and what you've experienced over the years.
Absolutely. And this, we will try and do the micro version of this because it's a very long journey, but it's such an honor to be here today because our lives have intertwined over the years. You got started in entrepreneurship early, as did I, and it's just great that we can be here having this conversation. So for those of you that don't know me, my journey actually started after I'd finished, well, I started entrepreneurship very early, so probably from 14, doing bits and pieces for my dad's company. I had a ethnic greetings card company as well, which I used to produce greeting cards, get them in shops. That was from around the age of 18, but properly my first entrepreneurship in the real world full-time was at the age of 21, just after I had finished my marketing and communications degree. And I opened up a restaurant. I led a family restaurant called The Experience, which is a Caribbean restaurant and takeaway, and we used to do catering. And I opened at 21, so I just finished fresh from uni. Everyone was going to go into whether it was graduate schemes, and I was like, no, actually I really want to work for myself. What can I do? I saw there was a need in our local area that wasn't being fulfilled. And how can we serve the community? Community has always been at my heart as well. How can we bring this together? And that's where we created The Experience. I led that for about 5 years. I was running that business, the catering arm as well. We used to do big fun community days as well. And it brought in all sorts of things for me. And it was really then was a case of it was sink or swim. I hadn't had a proper business. I had staff there, contracts, all of that. I had to learn it as I went along. And I think sometimes actually the earlier you start is the better because you haven't been engulfed with all those fears of what if and that. So it was really a massive stepping stone. And because of the age I started that so young, managed to get national publicity from that and got invitations like to go on at that time. I think they used to have Ben TV and things like that, where I got to be panelists amongst some amazing people, even like Angie Lamar, etc. I remember being invited there just as young age to go and share my opinion because of my journey into entrepreneurship. And I did that for 5 years, which is a brilliant stepping stone. It also got me in the property ladder very early on by myself independently. And then over the years, after I had my first daughter, and then the recession hit as well in 2008, I decided to let that business go, and I started to reevaluate. But fortunately, I knew what the power of having different skills and attributes then was, because I had a great mentor early on. And so I was able to, when my daughter was just born, go and start to freelance. And I was freelancing, doing some sort of assessing and bits and pieces. So I sort of went down the self-employed freelance route. And then later on, I went back into corporate, developed and built a career in project management. And throughout the years, so some bits you might not have even been aware of. I know we've been intertwined for so long, and built, and then I've various businesses over the year. So I think back in 2013, I then formed halves with my partner in crime, many of you may know or not know, which is Grace Nelson. We formed One Less Stress. The originality of that business was an events management company, and we did that for a couple of years. It was huge. We was part of international weekenders, bringing hundreds of people aboard. We did a big events as well. We got sponsored, and after a while, we realised that business model didn't work for us, because we were starting, I had families, and you need to be very present with event management. It's also very stressful for those of you in that industry. And then it started to merge, because people was always asking, okay, how do you start business? How have you done this over the years? And then it started to go into more of the coaching realm alongside the agency model. Had an agency for a while as well. And I was also doing freelance. I always do freelance in between. I was running social media accounts for many companies. So this is where I've got my marketing experience. My online experience has come from that world as well. We studied that for a number of companies. And then we fully formed, we found our positioning, what we wanted to do online. And that was to build our online coaching business. We found a niche who we wanted to serve. And that was women, particularly in corporate, that you could build a business alongside your 9 to 5. You could turn your excuses into your why. And this is practically where we are here now. It's evolved a bit along the way, but for about the last 5-6 years, we've been online, or maybe 7 years now. Time does fly. And maybe I look younger than I am. So time does fly. And that's the journey up to around now. Obviously, there's bits and pieces in between. But yeah, it's been an amazing journey. I would not have changed it for the world. I've got such strong foundations, online, offline, in businesses, that I think what I'm able to bring and serve, and hopefully in today's conversation, many of your audience is going to really pick up some nuggets.
Wow. Whew, let me just take a moment. That is amazing. You have been fully in action over the past few years, really standing for creating new things in the world, from a restaurant to project management to empowering business women online. I'm giving you your flowers whilst you are here. Okay, get your flowers, girl, your flowers, because we do that. Sometimes we achieve so much in life, and then we get really scared to share it. We get scared to talk about it. And then we kind of like, oh yeah, by the way, and I'm award winning and this, that, and the other. And it's just like you kind of tuck it under the carpet, and you spent sleepless nights working to get to that place. So I acknowledge you, all the lives you've touched and transformed over the years. It's just been amazing. And I just want to know, from all the stuff that you've done, what have been some of the challenges that you found along the way? What's really been, when you've laid up with your eyes open in the night thinking, oh my gosh, like what has really been a challenge? Because I know that hasn't been all, roses out there.
Absolutely. So there's been so many challenges along the way, from literally, I'd say the first business having to enter, which was one of the biggest recessions, 2008 recession. And I think that was a massive error in understanding then, okay, I mean, if massive global business like Woolworths could go under, that could be affected as well. And navigating that and then switching paths, there's been challenges of knowing, okay, being truthful to who I am at this moment. It's okay, even if I'm making money, I've got great clients. If I don't want to do it, they're finding the courage to move ahead and knowing there's always something better. As long as I stay aligned to who I am, that the path is already laid out for me. So it's navigating those challenges. It's been, being a single mother. Obviously now I have two young queens that I am looking after and trying to mold and create and help them become the best versions of themselves. So it's been a massive challenge in itself. And being able to navigate. But for me, I always switch it around, and it's being able to turn my excuses into my why. So yes, it may very well have been easy to say, I can't do this, I'm a single mum, how can I also still go for my goals, how can I afford? But for me, it's been like, actually I have to, because I'm so passionate about creating generational wealth, breaking patterns, making sure that my girls can be a step ahead of me in starting as well. So those things, they've been challenges, trying to navigate that as well. Obviously, building a business, going in from the offline space to online, understanding that and then teaching it to others. It would be navigating, even I would say, some of the challenges, tech challenges. So for me, I'm a creator at heart. I love to create. It's why I've created so many things over the years. And sometimes the challenges of understanding like the back end of businesses, whether it be the accounting, I hate numbers and that sort of thing, whether it be the admin, the physical stuff. And that's where I've had to learn and then bring people in that can support me on the areas that I'm weak at, and that I can really flourish in the areas that are my zone of genius. So yeah, so many different challenges that have come throughout the years, and it's a blessing now that I look at it. It's always in hindsight you can understand why, and I feel that's the fruit that's able to make me be authentic when I share with my audience or clients, or I'm here speaking with you today.
Yeah, wow, I really got that. You talked about having challenges over the years with various things popping up, and especially being a single mom, also a business owner, working in the corporate world. Like, how many hats is that?
The hats, it's there, and I'm also someone that's so people orientated and community orientated, so I'm always trying to give as well. So there's many hats to me. I wouldn't change any of them for the world, but it's been able to navigate, and identity shift, something that I talk about as well, that I can be this and I can be that, and also not putting limitations. So I can be a business owner, I can be a mum, I can be an employee, I can work on projects that are really close to my heart as well. I can be a content creator, something else that I've taken up in the last couple of months. I can do all of these things, a podcaster, I can do these things, and I can do them as long as it's authentic to me and where I am, and it's part of my bigger mission.
I got it. Wow. So you've found a way to juggle those multiple hats that you wear, which is great. So moving on to the next questions, like you do quite a lot. What is it that you're actually doing now? What games are you playing in the world?
Oh, I love this games. Yeah, it is. Life is like, there's so much opportunity, so much exploring. So my first love always is coaching. I love to coach. I love to see others excel, and I love to see the greatness in people and hold that space until they're able to see it for themselves, and then bring that out as well. So that's always my number one. Still coaching, still doing various with Grace. We have various programs together. I have some programs myself as well. Also content creating, which has been quite fun. I've been doing that for the last 6 months, and that's creating content for brands. That's bringing my strategic and marketing skills as well into place, which I love. Social media is a world we need to understand and navigate, so using that as well. And doing other bits and pieces as well. I also run a program that supports young people, providing them mentors and matching them, working supporting at a mental health charity, and I love that. It's amazing with what we're doing. Again, it's bringing all those skills and knowing, I know the value of having an amazing mentor, actually amazing mentors with young people in those areas that are more disadvantaged in London as well. So yeah, it's great, it's fun. These are the dances I'm having. I've got my big word for the next year as we go into progress, and what my big aim is at all of next year is assets. It's building up more and more assets. There's more property going into that, so that I can, again, I said I'm a big advocate for generational wealth. I have 2 girls, so that's my big focus for 2023 is asset creation and asset collecting as well.
Wow. Asset creation, right?
Yeah.
Collection. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Staying on top of all the social media trends and all the online worlds, that takes a lot, right? So what advice would you give? Because I know you are like a guru / expert in my eyes in the online world. So what advice would you give to, say, professionals or entrepreneurs who are listening to this and wanted to step out and get started in the online worlds?
Yeah, so this is one of my topics of expertise, and it is about marketing authentically. I think as soon as you try and market in a way that is not true to who you are, it becomes more of a chore, it becomes more of a job. So you've got to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, then you source it out to a social media manager or source it out bits to a VA. But you've got to ultimately have your essence, your brand voice, who it is that you want in all of your social media, trends or not. And when a trend comes on, then you intertwine it. And that's how I'm able to do it. If there's a trend and I can bring it in, I can share my value, my message, I can hit home to the pain points that my audience feel, then I'm going to do it. And if I find it fun and amusing. So it's not everything you're going to jump onto, but jump onto what feels aligned and always share who you are. That's how a lot of the time I know people suffer, like if I go into the online space, maybe I'm going to get imposter syndrome. That only comes when you're thinking you need to be someone else or something else. So be as true to who you are. If you have got a hobby that maybe other people might deem as really nerdy or something like that, still bring in, because your people will ultimately find you as well. And it's taking many steps. I would say if you're just embracing the online world, could be massively overwhelming. But first of all, take one platform, understand it, master it, play around with it. You know, everything that you do, even if something flops or it doesn't do as well, you're going to get feedback and learning from that as well. And then find also those that are really dominating in your industry. Look at what's working for them. There's so many, like we can go into intricate strategies of detail, like, you know, finding using websites such as SimilarWeb, etc., finding where your audience are, looking at competitors. But actually see what's working, don't reinvent the wheel, and take it step by step by step. So maybe for the first couple of quarters of the year, you're going to focus on Instagram, you're going to focus on TikTok, you're going to focus on LinkedIn, whatever it is, but don't overwhelm yourself thinking you need to do it all. And then I would say another tip as well, just going on, is just repurpose. I always say this, you know, I'm the queen. Repurpose what you're doing, have an intention, have a top of funnel in mind. If you're just getting online and you're building your business, repurpose that content across different platforms, let it go further, let your work do more of the talking for you, because you put that time and investment in it. Don't just create one piece of content and let it just be seen by one particular audience. And that's going to help you as well, not get overwhelmed or burnt out.
Absolutely. Repurpose that content, repurpose and repurpose. And I really got that. And a question that I get asked a lot is, how do I monetize my gifts? How can I make money from my skills and talents online? And you mentioned TikTok. Now, if you are a TikTok, look at what, like, if you're on TikTok, you could see you can actually earn money online from gifts, from almost anything in the world. ASMR, there's so many different things, right? And is it UCG? Is it? Yeah. So just touch a bit on that stuff to help people who might want to create a side hustle or something in between their main job.
Absolutely. So take, for example, I have a small TikTok following. I have managed to make thousands over the last 6 months, literally, from making TikToks for brands. So there's an element you can use it called UGC, which is user generated content, and it's creating content for brands where they will pay you. You get paid, plus you would get the free gift or product. You can get retainer clients you work with a long time. Maybe you can become creative consultant. There's so many avenues. There's also ways, you know, if you start to build a really engaged following, people will pay you to run an ad or particular, maybe a series on your account as well, so you can get that earnings. There's ways of, you know, you can become an affiliate or a brand ambassador for something. That I would say, make sure you're aligned with the product or brand. There's that way that you can start to bring earnings. TikTok, another example, you can start to have links. TikTok has TikTok Shop. There's items that you use, you can start to have links and put that on there, and then you get a commission for those that's viewed. You can create even your own shop on something like TikTok. You know, you've got Amazon affiliate program, you've got something called Shop Me as well. If perhaps you have a particular skincare regime, or you have home decor that people always complimenting you, you can have your own shop online where you share with your audience. You want to replicate this, because something about a lot of these social medias now, people see people's lives and they want a piece, and they ask, where did you get that from? Where did you get that coat from? Where did you get that settee from? Where did you get that cushion from? So you can monetize this. There's so many ways, and one of the things I always say to my audience, no matter where you are, there's a way for you to monetize online. I have just tried so many things so that I can always come back and share with my audience out of authenticity, and there's just 1,000 ways. You've just got to take yourself out of the box, that there's no longer just one way to make money anyway. and I don't believe that you should in this day and age as well, and that you can really monetize. And a lot of the times I tell even a lot of my audience, my clients, the coaches and consultants, you can even start reaching out to brands that are in alignment with what you're doing. So say, for instance, you use a habit tracker or a particular app, maybe a journaling app, you can start to think, how can you start to build a brand partnership? If you're referring something all the time, then do it that way and bring in additional money. So there is coins to be made. It's just about thinking and making sure that it's working with your voice, your tone and your mission. So hopefully that's answered some of your questions.
No, a lot of people are facing redundancy. People are just leaving their jobs even without another job. This is a very turbulent time that we're in, so thinking outside the box and hearing what other options are available to potentially earn an income is important, because we tend to get trapped in this, oh, I really need to stay in my job and this is the only option. And then if that disappears, it's like, okay, what next? What do I need to do? So hearing about this is like the creator economy, and these are new types of ways of earning money, aren't they, right, online?
Yeah, and the creative economy is absolutely booming. And it doesn't mean, I think a lot of people still get confused that, okay, do I need to be an influencer? You don't need to be an influencer. There is different part. If you want to, that's absolutely fine. But actually, probably it could be even more possible being part of the creative economy, whether it's creating content for brands, whether it's being a strategist, whether it's seeking, helping people train in-house, whether it's, just doing pure UGC. Like there's same whether it's being affiliate and ambassador. Like there's so many ways. And I just really want anyone that is struggling I always say the teacher will appear when you are ready. If you're ready and you're open to thinking about different ways to produce income online, you're going to start to see things about you then actioning. Okay, let me go and explore this. Let me find out a bit more. Let me ask some questions. Let me look at this way, and then the path will start to unfold. But I would really, really honour anyone that's in a position. Just open your mind to being able to explore, and you will find the right path for you. But it's endless what can be out there.
There's endless possibilities when you open your eyes and explore. And when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Wow, love that. I really got that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like there's a lot of people listening that would be able to take some little gems from that and think about how they can apply that in their own life. Yeah, so moving on.
Yes, let's go. For all of it, yes.
We've got loads. I'm sure we could dance in conversation for hours and hours and hours. However, this is the Unwrap Your Gift podcast, and it is all about empowering people to unwrap their gifts and step into their power. Now, the other day I was speaking to someone, they said to me, what do you mean by gifts? Do you do unboxing videos for Christmas? And I was like, no, I'm not. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about the gift within you, your natural skills, your talents, your abilities. And a lot of the time, people are walking around with their gifts wrapped up inside them, and they don't actually believe that they have a gift. So this podcast, and this is one of the ways that I'm going to be really sharing about how people use their gifts, how they find them, and how they can step into their power. So what would you say is one of your gifts?
Okay. So I think one of the biggest gifts for me is able to provide people with clarity. And that's why it's intertwined with so many things that I do at the moment. But I know I can take something that seems mammoth, complex, or really hard to reach, and I can break it down and help someone see the simplified route. And I think as humans, we like to overcomplicate things. As a society, we like to overcomplicate things, and sometimes done intentionally to create a barrier. Sometimes it's done, subconsciously. But if we can break that down, and I think as humans, if we can see a pathway that's clear and we can move forward, then like literally the world is our oyster. So one of my biggest gifts is being able to, simplify it, help as the people unwrap that gift and say, yeah, this is how you can then execute that gift. It's here. It's just taking it one step at a time, building that confidence, that self-esteem, until it becomes truly embodied, that gift, that's yours to give out. So that's one, I'd say that is. And then also creativity. So I shared that earlier. One of my other rich compliments is creativity. I can create programs, I can create ideas. I thrive sometimes when you would have encountered that if someone's sharing this, I'm like, well, what about this? We can try this and this. Ideas come very, very naturally to me.
Wow, that, you know, when you was talking, I was like, actually, yeah, I could see that as your gift. I could see that. And I was laughing because you was talking about sometimes we create layers and layers of things that we don't need to do. It's like self-sabotage. And I was like, that was me. That was me. I was like, I need to create 10 funnels and all of this stuff in the beginning. I was making it difficult, but you was like, keep it simple. Keep it simple. That is a real gift that you have to get people to gain clarity on what they're doing, and it helps because then people could just take action that moves them towards their goals. When would you say was one of the earliest times that you remember identifying that this may be a gift for you?
Okay, so I think I had, as I said, I started entrepreneurship very early, particularly when I had the greeting cards business, which is I was able to see there was a market. There wasn't much ethnic greeting cards. This was way before what we have now. There wasn't much ethnic greeting cards. I was like, there is a need. There is, how can we do this simply? How can we get this out to the masses? And I think it's always been ingrained in me. And I think being an entrepreneur, which I am naturally, I say, if you cut my blood, you probably see entrepreneurship through there. But if you are an entrepreneur, you're a problem solver. And that goes back to my gift of being able to simplify, solve a problem that's there. And that's, I think, is the essence of being an entrepreneur anyway. If you're not able to solve problems, you're not going to get paid. And that's where a lot of people may be doing something, not getting paid, because they're just not solving a problem and communicating that clearly. And then that then leads on to my communication skills, being able to articulate and show the value that I can have. So yeah, it's been early, I would say, from the teenage years, exploring and experimenting with those things as well. I said them from business to business to business. I mean, my poor mum, she's been so many times I've gone and pitched to her to invest in things. Remember when I was like, I'm going to set up a public, I was influenced by the Missy Elliott days, and I was like, we've got some partners and I'm going to set up a publishing and production company. I thought I was like an artist manager, and I did that for a bit as well. It's so funny if we go back into industry. It's like, I can see a problem. How can I do it? I can see a problem, and just having that boldness and confidence to go and try.
Yes, I love that. And I love that you're a multi-hustler, right? A multi-hustler, I call it. And you're somebody who loves to get involved in different things and different ideas. And you touched upon something very important just then. You talked about having the right support around you, having people that believe in your dreams, because it's in those moments when you go and pitch those ideas that if someone shuts you down, you might never ever get started. So having the right support network, how's that been for you, having the right people around you to help you in your goals and dreams?
Oh, it's been absolutely instrumental. And I always say the first thing I say to anyone is get yourself a support network. A lot of the time, it might not be your friends and family. I've been lucky enough that I have had such an amazing family, many of whom are very entrepreneurial anyway, have their own businesses. So I was able to see an example that it's absolutely achievable for me from an early age, which has been great. I started about 14. My first job was helping my dad in his company do invoices for clients. So got that exposure very early, and my mum used to do different bits and pieces. So I think that has been instrumental. Obviously, being a single mum, if I didn't have a support network around me, my sister, etc., I would not be able to do a lot of the things. I wouldn't be able to go and speak at events. I wouldn't be able to, do things with clients, etc. These things wouldn't be possible if I didn't have that support network. And as I've got older through the years, being able to ask for help has been so instrumental, and enlisting the support, and being able to understand with my own self-evolution that actually asking for help was not indication that meant I was less than or weaker. I wasn't this independent woman, that actually that showed the growth. And that now I'm at a stage where actually I want help for everything. I'm clean, I want this, I want that. Bring on the help. I'm about, it's about enjoying this life. We don't have to overwork ourselves. We don't have to over hustle. Don't have to, have that old style mentality. So it's about switching that, but having that support network so instrumental. If your friends and family out there, then find yourself a community, because until you build that inner self-resilience and that inner self-confidence, you will be swayed down so quickly. And it does take time to build that. So get around people who are on the same journey as you, who will just, be your cheerleaders, big you up. And there's free resources to do that as well if you can't afford paid. But it's so important you get yourself around the right people who's going to support you and they can see a bigger vision for you as well.
Yeah, people who see a bigger version of you, even when you can't see it yourself. And in the Unwrap Your Gift masterclass that I run regularly, there's a secret called Eagles Don't Fly with Pigeons. And it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people, people that inspire you, that bring you up, that motivate you. And that's so important. That is so important, as you've just said. As we're coming near to the end of the interview, I just want to touch upon a few more things, such as you mentioned that you ask for help now. It's a good thing when you need support, when you need people around you to help you in your journey, because you've had ups and downs, you've done so many different things in different arenas. What type of support? Because people don't understand the importance sometimes of investing in yourself. The importance of, I could do it alone. However, I can go further and faster, quicker if I have some help. So what help have you had along the way in your journey?
Yeah, I've been so fortunate, had so much help. Remember, as I said, in my first business, when I was running a restaurant and catering company, I had a mentor. I was fortunate to get, she instilled things into me still to this day that instrumental in the way that I've moved. I always invest in mentorship over the years. I mean, I've spent over 20 grand on mentorship, and I've been able, because of taking that investment and that energetic exchange, I've been able to make that back as well. I just invested in something yesterday as part of the Tony Robbins franchise last night. I will continue because if I'm an advocate, I'm a coach, I'm sharing how important it is to receive, to have coaching or mentorship, then I have to be doing it myself. I have to walk my walk. That's something that's so important and to be integral. I always get mentorship, paid, sometimes free, coaching. I will be around. I put myself in uncomfortable situations in communities where people are maybe doing major things that are 10x what I'm doing, so that I am continuously inspired to expand. Because it's easy when you're doing things that are maybe not the norm, it's easy to sit around your circle and just be contented and like, yeah, okay, I'm the big fish here, but switch it around. When I'm the small fish, it means I'm going to be in continual expansion, because that's just part of me, and that elevates, that pushes me forward. So always say invest in yourself is one of the number one things. And once you do that, you start to find that safety in yourself, you start to bet on yourself, and then you're going to take more risks. Because if you can't risk yourself, if you can't take that risk on yourself, how can you expect anyone else outside to? So it is all interlinked as well. But yes, I hope that's answered the question.
Yeah, love it. Invest in yourself. If you're not prepared to invest in yourself, then why would anyone else? I think you nailed it just there, because that investment is so important. What would you say is one of your favorite quotes? What would you say is one of your favorite quotes? I love quotes. I think they're so inspiring and powerful to have in your life. So what would you like to share as one of your quotes today?
Yeah, and I love quotes as well. And I think sometimes we can gloss over them and not really listen to words. Like, words are so powerful and what they're saying if we can execute. So one of my favorites is by James Clear, and hopefully I'm going to say this in the right context, but you'll get it anyway. It's about every decision that you make is a vote for the person that you want to become. And why I love that so much is because we're talking about dancing here in this conversation, life, doing things as well. But if you are on a journey to expanding, unwrapping your gifts, elevating, then there's going to be a dance between your old identity and the new identity that you need to become in order to elevate. So that only happens, it's through decisions. Every decision I talk a lot about, like on my social media posts, it's making a decision to decide. So every decision, why that quote resonates with me all the time is it can be minute, whether it's you're going to do the washing up, or whether it's you're going to sign up for a program, whether it's you're going to listen to this podcast in its entirety and see what nuggets you're going to pick up. But it's a decision for who you really want to be. And if you're okay, maybe you don't want to be that person, or it's not the right time, then you're still making a decision. But sometimes people mask it over because of our need to overcomplicate things, and they think it's everything, but it's actually all down to a decision. So when you become conscious and aware of this, you can start to break the patterns and the molds, and you can start to make intentional decisions from the person that you want to become to have what you want. So that dance becomes much more intentional, as opposed to, oh, am I dancing? What am I doing? What's happening? When I'm going to a cold comfort zone, why am I going into new? But then we can have a fun decision and say, no, I'm not dancing with that limiting belief there. I'm dancing over here, and this is because this is where I want to go. This is where I want to become. hopefully that's explained why as well.
Yeah, every decision you make is taking you closer to who you say you want to be in the world,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
taking you further away from who you used to be. Love it, love it. So what's one message that you would love to leave with the audience today? What is one message that you'd love to leave with the audience today?
It's if you have had something on your heart, right, that's been whispering, just hearing the nudge over and over and over, explore this, I want to do that, maybe I should do this, whatever it may be, I just want to encourage you to act upon it and just get curious. Like, curiosity can just bring you to so many places you would never know. Just get curious. Let me listen to that. Let me investigate. Let me go a bit further with no expectations. And you will just be surprised at where you will end up, what life you will create. Like, sometimes I look back and I think, oh my gosh, 5 years ago, I was like literally praying for this. This is my everyday, this is my life, this is my reality. And that happened just by becoming curious and being open to exploring and changing and navigating the unknown. So just please, any voice that you're hearing, just be open to exploring it without any expectation. And I would love to hear those that take that on in maybe 6 months, a year later, your listeners. And I know you've got some amazing episodes coming up as well, and just see where they will arrive at. And like, things can change beyond your wildest dreams as well, just by being curious and listening to that inner voice. And then it will get louder and louder, and the direction will become clearer, and that clarity will just be there, and it will start to be who you are instead.
Wow, love it, love it. Listen to your whisper and take that step, take that route, and you'll be curious. Be curious.
Yes. Just be curious.
Wow, Charlotte, you have been an amazing guest today. It's been such a joy to have you on the show. Please let us know, how can we get in contact with you? How can we find you? We want to get to know you some more.
Yes, no, probably, again, as I said, it's an absolute honour to be here talking with you, and I'm a massive fan of what you're doing. You are helping at the core to unwrap people's gifts, and then it will just explode from there, so thank you. But if you want to find out more about what I'm doing, then please just follow me. I'm visible on social media. Instagram and TikTok's probably your best place as well, so you can go to Shar Consults on TikTok, Shar Consults on Charlotte Barrett Consults on Instagram as well, and you can find me all over LinkedIn, YouTube, all the stuff. I'm there will be a presence, but those are my two active. And if you head on to the link in my bios, you'll also find some free resources as well.
Get your freebies, guys, get your freebies. Thank you so much. Remember, everybody, we are all born with a gift, and we all have special skills, talents, and gifts that we can use to be successful. And now's the time to unwrap your gifts. Have an amazing day. Subscribe to the podcast, and see you soon.